NASCAR was at the Dover Motor Speedway. We take a look if Miles the Monster was hungry again with the NASCAR Cup Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We have the Indycar Series at the Barber Motorsports Park. We had the IMSA Series at the Laguna Seca Raceway, and we had 4-wide action in Charlotte with the NHRA. And that's a new episode of Europeans Watching American Racing. My name is André Wiegold. I'm from Germany, and my Italian co-host is Gianluca Guiglia.
Welcome everyone, we had a super busy weekend, so let's get started.
Yes, you said it, a busy weekend. To be honest, due to the rain delay in the NASCAR Cup Series, it really got messy because, it was racing and action all over the place, and it was really hard to follow everything because IMSA, Indycar, and even NASCAR, they, overlapped a little bit. This is why I had 3 screens at one point running at the same time, trying to catch all the action, but honestly, it's not possible. It's not possible. You can only focus on one thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit too busy this weekend, and then we are getting ready for next week to get started with the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series as well. So it's bonkers.
Yes.
So do we start from the Cup Series?
Yes, Cup Series.
Yes, Cup Series.
Interesting for me. First of all, we start before the race. Chris Buescher in the RFK Racing Ford Mustang on pole position. That was surprising.
Yes, that was surprising. Alongside him, Danny Hamlin. That is much less surprising at Dover. The race unfolded in 2 days. So during stage 1, because of rain, we returned to action on Monday with a very green track, and therefore tire problems, tire issues. So stage 1, just very quickly. Stage 1 went to Danny Hamlin ahead of Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, and Martin Truex Jr.
Second, not Kyle Larson.
Chase Elliott. And stage 2 went to Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, Martin Truex, Harrison Barton. What did you see? I saw plenty of tire issues, especially on Monday, and especially for poor Danny Hamlin. Oh, come on. Well, the number 11 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota was probably the class of the field, I would say. But then they got the lead. They got the lead at the start of stage 2, exiting pit road, and the car lost the front left wheel. Big penalty coming. 4 races, probably suspension for the crew chief and the tire changer, and Danny Hamlin cannot catch a break. Then he later got involved in a crash with Cody Ware spinning, and he got collected. He really can't catch.
No, definitely. Bad luck for him, and as well, you cannot do those mistakes during a race. We always talk about the 0 mistake job you have to do during a NASCAR race. Even when it's a 400-mile race like a Dover, you're not allowed to do too many mistakes. One mistake in the beginning of the race, okay, you can overcome that. We saw Christopher Bell, for example, catching back. He was, I think, 2 laps down at one point, and he
Kyle Larson as well.
Yeah, when he spun and stuff like that. That's not a problem. But in the crucial parts of the race, when you have to do your job, you have to do your job, and that's the problem we have with Danny Hamlin. He always have a bad timing with the mistakes, and those mistakes, put him into a bad position, and that's why he was in the end at that point at the racetrack where the crash happened.
Yeah, and that is definitely going a bad season for Danny Hamlin so far. His results are lackluster, to say the least. Luckily, he has a win already, but that they really need to turn the season around. And the same is valid for his team.
Yeah,
23-11 Racing, very bad.
But I think Bubba Wallace was not that bad running during the race.
No, he wasn't. But in the end, the result is not there once again. And he finished 16th.
16th, yes, with a lap down. We had only 15 cars in the lead lap at the end. But this was due to the characteristics of that race. it was, do
Yeah.
I pit or do I not pit? It was that question. We saw several
Mhm.
cautions. We saw plenty of cautions, and therefore people doing different stuff, staying out, changing tires, refueling, and therefore um, Dover is just 1 mile long. So if you're pitting, you lose a lap, and therefore
Mhm.
it was all about having the track position or having new tires and gambling. It was all about the strategies. And therefore, again, people were shuffling down a lap or two. And this is the reason why we had only 15 cars in the lead lap in the end. And
Mhm.
yeah, Cole Custer was the last one in 15th. And Baba Wallace was the first one not in the lead lap in 16th. But we had also Eric Almirola 1 lap down. We had Brad Keselowski
Mhm.
1 lap down. Denny Hamlin 1 lap down. William Byron 1 lap down. Austin Dillon even
Mhm.
2 laps down. So we see that Dover was one of those races. Track position meant everything.
Yeah, also because of course of the aerodynamics of the cars, it was a better Dover
Yeah,
race than usual. I have to
definitely.
say, plenty of overtakes, but of course when you race on such a fast track in which you slow down very little, especially at the beginning of the run, track position is key,
Yeah.
and you have to do everything you can to maintain that track position. Once you are clean air in the lead, it's really difficult to attack you. So this is where you want to be. And we saw it a couple of times. Uh, we saw a very strong couple of drivers. Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson was strong as well, in my opinion. He spun. He he had a his right front tire exploded during that spin, but he was able to come back. Kyle Busch was very strong. Of course, Danny Hamlin, we said it. And once again, man, Ross Chastain, and then we have our winner, of course. Ross Chastain, such a consistent
Yes,
driver
and
this
then
year.
we come to my highlight of the race. What was it? 50 or 60 laps to go. We had the restart, and then Chase
Yes.
Elliott and Ross Chastain side by side for what was it? 3 or 4 laps, and it could have gone continue if Tyler Reddick would have not have spun. But those
Yes.
guys were battling, wrestling their cars, touching each other, but staying fair. There was no bad blood
Mhm.
in this fight, in this battle. They were touching. You saw Ross Chastain on the outside. We had Chase
Mhm.
Elliott on the inside. We saw that Chase Elliott could not get the momentum out of the turn because he needed to stay in the middle lane. And we saw
Mhm.
Ross Chastain having the problem that he had to drive more mileage on the middle
Mhm.
lane in the corners, and therefore they were neutralizing each other on the straights and in the
Yes.
corners, and they were side by side for, let's say, 4 or 5 laps, and it was amazing. I was watching that fight and said, man, this next gen car works.
Yes. It works. It's still, of course, whenever you put a vehicle on a track above 250 kilometers per hour, aerodynamics matter. Even if the car is a shoebox,
Yeah.
it matters anyway. It matters. So we cannot do away with it. But this car works. This car is allowing them to race better.
Yep.
And there, I think it's there where Chase Elliott won the race. A couple of restarts, around 60 laps to go. He got in the lead and he kissed everyone goodbye. No,
Yes.
no chance to catch him.
And Chase Elliott won his first race. He was first in the standings without a win, I think, for 6 consecutive weeks. And now
Yes.
he did it. He locked himself 100% in the playoffs. We have 9 different winners in 11 races. So,
Impressive.
yeah, very impressive. For the first year of next gen, we see no dominance, but the quartet is there. We have now 4 Hendrick drivers with a win, all of them locked into the playoffs. So Hendrick Motorsports definitely the one top team that raised the bar in this season.
Chase Elliott was really strong on Monday, and it seems a little bit incredible to me that he didn't win for a few races, but he always gives you the feeling that he's there competing for the win. Now we can relax and go for more wins in the next few races. And then, do we want to talk about the second place driver, Ricky Stenhouse?
Yes,
Where
yes.
did he come from?
Wait. Before you say something about Ricky Stenhouse, I have an interesting stat about Chase Elliott.
Oh, yes.
It was his first oval race since he won the championship in 2020 at Phoenix. He did not won an oval race since then. He only won
What?
at Austin 2021 and Elkhart Lake, so Road America in 2021. No oval race win since 2020. Oh, of course, the end of 2020. It did not feel
Wow.
like that, right?
Unbelievable. No, it didn't feel like
Yeah.
it. Ah, man.
Okay.
I guess he has plenty of competition inside Elliott Motorsport.
But now let's go to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Yes, the JTG Doherty Racing Chevrolet Camaro was amazing. We when we talk about Ricky Stenhouse Jr., normally it's a super speedway race because he's fabulous at Daytona and at Talladega, and in the future, I think, of course, at Atlanta as well. But on a 1 mile track, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. so competitive. To be honest, I was surprised.
Yeah, me too. They had a pretty solid strategy, and he said it at the end to Bob Pockrass that he didn't honestly expect to finish second. That they thought they had a top 15 car anyway, which is a very good thing.
And it's a big span.
Single
top 15 can mean first place or 15th.
Yes, exactly. But he expected to be good, but not that good. So he's gonna take these results and run with it. Hopefully, this is a good turn for their season. They are a single car team, so it's always complicated to stay on par with the top teams. He's now 27th in points, so he's still far away from the cutoff for the playoffs, and he probably needs a win somewhere. But I really hope it is a turning point for him.
Definitely, yes.
And JTG Doherty, of course.
JTG Doherty, that's a good thing to say something about what we're doing next week. We're going to the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia, Spain. It's the season opener of the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series. You can watch the races live and for free on YouTube on May 14th and 15th, and also the qualifying. But interesting is that we have a driver in the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series that is going to be supported by JTG Doherty Racing in the 2022 season. Leonardo Colavita, very young guy. He's the youngest driver in Euro NASCAR history with 16 years and 4 or 5 days.
4 days.
Yeah,
4 or 5
like
days,
this,
yes.
Yeah. Last year, he made his debut, and he went to Daytona in 2022 to the Daytona 500, and he closed that deal with JTG Doherty, and therefore he will carry the 47 on his car in the NASCAR Wheel New Series as well.
Yeah, if you remember last year, he was already a solid driver in Euro NASCAR 2. He competed also, I think, in Euro NASCAR Pro somehow, yes. And he is very young, very outspoken, very good kid. Really, this is gonna be big for him. The support from JTG Doherty, even if he's racing in another continent, it's still being able to access that know-how and that kind of NASCAR knowledge. It's really important. Keep an eye on the 47 in Valencia.
Yes, and you said it. It's a different continent, but still it's inside of the NASCAR world. So it's amazing to have a Cup Series team involved here over in Europe. All right, third place went to Ross Chastain, and he's strong at super speedways. He's strong at intermediate ovals. He's strong at short tracks. He's strong at the 1 mile tracks. To be honest, we have to consider Ross Chastain in Trackhouse Racing as a championship contender. Not favorite, but contender. For me, Ross Chastain...
Would you have said it?
Yeah.
Would you have said it last year
Never.
that this would happen?
Never.
Absolutely no.
But he's not only having some stings like a bee, you know? He's consistent. He's there all the time. And he, I think, 7 top 5 results out of 11 races.
Unbelievable.
He's strong. And therefore, I really, really think that he could make it into the Final Four.
The only really bad result he had this season, Bristol Dirt. it was 33rd.
Yeah.
Then a 19th place at Richmond, but then you have second, first, fifth, first, third. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Congratulations to them, and I really hope they can sustain this.
Definitely, yes. Fourth place went to Christopher Bell, who rebounded after early issues in the race. Then Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch. Chris Buescher, the pole sitter, in 8th. It's a solid result for RFK Racing. Kevin Harvick in 9th, somewhere in nowhere. And Eric Jones completing the top 10 in the Petty GMS Motorsports Chevrolet. We had Ford in the top 10. We have Toyota in the top 10. We have a lot of Chevrolets in the top 10. So OEM wise, everything, quite leveled.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note that the best Ford is Chris Buescher.
Yeah.
Kind of a, it looked to me midway through the race that Ford really has to catch up to Chevy and Toyota, but it seems that finally Joe Gibbs Racing found how to click with the next gen car.
Let's take a look at the overall standings after that 11th race of the season. Chase Elliott still leading the championship. He has 418 points. And now, listen carefully, 107 stage points are part of those 400. So,
whoa,
1/4 of his points coming from stages. We have Ryan Blaney winless in second, but still he's collecting points. Okay, the Dover race was his second bad race of the season after Las Vegas, but that happens, no problem. William Byron in third with 2 wins. Kyle Busch fourth with 1 win. Alex Bowman 1 win in fifth. Ross Chastain 2 wins in sixth. Then we have Martin Truex Jr. winless in seventh. Kyle Larson 1 win in eighth. Joey Logano winless in ninth, and Christopher Bell winless in 10th. And we have the other guys winning races, Chase Briscoe 13th and Austin Cindric, and that's important, 18th. So he's already stealing 1 spot inside of the top 16. So the 16th driver, Tyler Reddick, would not be in the playoffs at the moment.
Yep, and we have Austin Cindric.
Also Danny Hamlin in 23rd.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
So Austin Dillon in 15th would also not be in the playoffs at the moment because they would kick them out.
Well, if Danny Hamlin keeps going this way, there's a serious risk that he falls out of the top 30, but that's not going to happen. Absolutely. So there's already a good bunch of drivers on the bubble. It's very interesting. The chase for the playoffs is very interesting this year. We will not have 16 different drivers, but 10, 12. Yeah, why not?
Maybe 14. Maybe 14, so they really get scared.
Yes, exactly. A solid points weekend is not going to be enough, probably, for many drivers. Well, that was an interesting Cup Series race. Should we switch to the Xfinity Series?
Yes, and that was a perfect race for Junior Motorsports. Want to finish, let's make it quick. Josh Berry won the race ahead of Justin Allgaier. I think we had a little bit more typical Dover race there. Let's go through the stages. First stage was won by Sam Mayer ahead of Justin Allgaier, Josh Berry, Brendan Jones, and John Hunter Nemechek. In stage 2, we had Justin Allgaier that went, by the way, that ended under yellow, I think. Ahead of Brendan Jones, AJ Allmendinger, Josh Berry, and Ty Gibbs. And then, as we said, Josh Berry won ahead of Justin Allgaier, a 1-2 finish for Junior Motorsports. Ty Gibbs ended up third. Noah Gragson fourth, and he won the Dash for Cash $100,000 ahead of Sam Mayer, who rounded out the top 5.
What can we say? Except for Ty Gibbs, it was a Junior Motorsport dominance, and Josh Berry deserved it plenty, very well deserved for Josh Berry. Justin Allgaier was also a force to reckon with during the race. I think it was a more classic Dover race. All in all, good race, always. And Josh, very solid.
Yes, definitely. We saw Mayer passing Brendan Jones for stage 1 win, so we had, of course, lead changes even at the track. It was not only pit road
Hmm.
strategies or cautions. Stage two, like I said, ended under yellow, so that's why Allgaier was winning that stage. He was in first when the
Hmm.
caution came out, and in the end, yes, we had cautions because Miles the Monster, and I asked the question at the beginning of the show, he was hungry. He was definitely hungry.
Yes, definitely. That this track is. I really hope they don't change it. It's just so peculiar. It's different and it's good. It's a concrete oval. It's a 1 mile, very fast, very high banking, and this means that the slightest mistake, boom, you are in one of the two walls, or possibly both.
Yes, and I always imagine the monster coming and eating the car.
Yes.
This is really a
Oh
picture I
yeah.
have in my mind. As we had, what was it, 13 cautions in the Cup Series. The last race we had more cautions was in 2017 with 15 cautions. And in the
Hmm.
Xfinity Series, let's take a look, it were 5 cautions. So last race in 2021 it were 7 cautions. We had 10 cautions back in 2017. So 5 cautions were not much, but we saw the typical Dover race with people dominating, single file racing with plenty of margins between the cars. But
Hmm.
the strategies and the concrete track surface eating the tires, those were the stories in the Xfinity race, in my opinion.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. It was a well, if I have to say, it's the typical mid-season race. Not too much to talk about, but anyways, this is going to shape the classifications. And speaking of classifications, should we go to the points?
Yes.
AJ Allmendinger, sixth under the checkered flag, still leading the championship standings with 1 win. Ty Gibbs, second. Third place for Noah Gregson, and fourth for Josh Berry. Brandon Jones in fifth, Justin Allgaier in sixth, Sam Mayer still winless in seventh place,
Yep.
winless as is Justin Allgaier. Ryan Sieg eighth, Riley Herbst ninth, and the first rookie, Austin Hill, in 10th place, strong of his Daytona win.
Yes. These are our top 10. Let's talk about where we are heading next week. Darling.
Whoa, Darlington, the lady in black.
Too tough to tame.
Um, yeah, the track too tough to tame. Well, it is one of those tracks you really drive for yourself, against yourself, and against the track more than against your opponents, right?
Yes. Yeah. The names they really identify that track. You're going to have to choose the high lane. You have only place for 2 cars side by side, so 3 right action. No, not at Darlington. Of course, we have to talk about the shape of the track. It's more like an egg because there was a guy with the fish pond, and he was not selling the land to the owner who wanted to have a small, let's say, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but it did not work out due to the fish
No.
pond, and therefore we have an egg-shaped oval there in Darlington. Um, yeah, it's a track that's filled with tradition, history, and big moments, and therefore
Mhm.
I'm really looking forward to it. And what's going to be interesting in the Cup Series? By the way, we have the Cup Series, the Truck Series, and the Xfinity Series on track. But in the Cup Series, we will have the throwback liveries next weekend with the new number placement. It's going to be quite interesting how they are going to adopt these classic liveries to that new style of NASCAR.
Do they have a theme this year, or a particular period they refer to? I think it's
I
the
don't
90s.
I don't really know, to be honest.
Well,
I have to check that.
anyways, it's anyways it's always a pleasure to see drivers throwing it back to the history of the sport
Yeah.
and paying tribute to the great names, but also the less known names like Brad Keselowski. Do you remember when he had a livery inspired by his father?
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Yes.
So
Yes.
cool.
This
Mm-mm.
is going to be a part of my week to look up all of the liveries to find the stories behind them. Do you know every story behind every livery? No. Every time when you come to Darling, you find a livery. You think, okay, I have to do researches and see what car, what driver, what period that was. It's amazing to have so much history of NASCAR on track in 2022. So Darlington is going to be one of my favorite races, just story wise, um, because of those liveries. And I'm going to be in the commentary booth on Motorvision TV again for the NASCAR Cup Series race on German television. So, yeah, looking up liveries is going to be my main job this week.
And it's always a very let's say, I don't know if it's the correct word, but it's educational.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about the past and the greats of this sport.
Yes.
So if they keep doing, I am happy. Once a year, it's fine, and I'm really looking forward to it as well. Um, what do we go? Single
Single
seaters
seaters.
now.
See, we go to yes
Alabama.
to
Woohoo!
Birmingham. We go to the IndyCar series. We had the first
Oh wait,
race.
man.
What?
Wait, man. They published the rules for the All Star race in Texas.
Oh yes.
Oh, it's very, very complicated. Shall we talk about it next week or
Yes,
before
we
the
do.
All Star
Yes,
race?
I think before the All Star race, but we have that.
Yes.
We have that in mind.
Yes. So I'm sorry if I interrupted.
No problem. No
You were
problem.
talking about Alabama.
Yes, we were at the first permanent racetrack of the season in the IndyCar series. We were at ovals. We were not racetrack, road course. We were at the oval of Texas. We had street courses, but no permanent road course, a classic racetrack. And the Barber Motorsports Park was the first one we visited this weekend on 1st of May, and the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama was a interesting one because we had the Dutch guy, European guy, Rinus VK on pole position,
Can you
but
say it in Dutch again?
yes, but it should be Rinus van Kalmthout.
Yeah.
This should
Um,
be the right pronunciation.
where is it?
Rinus van
See,
Kalmthout.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying to learn it. Rinus van Keltman.
yeah,
Van Kempton.
Kalmthout. Yeah.
Okay. It's you have to know we are Europeans, but it's always very difficult sometimes for us Latin people, Italians and Spanish to pronounce that thing.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyways, back to the action. Really good, man. Really strong showing in qualifying for Rinus.
Yes, and then in the race, yeah, Rinus VK he struggled, he battled, he did everything he could, but he was beaten.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised to see track position being that important at Barber. Well, the track was green. There was rain in the days coming to the race, so they were concerned. Teams were concerned about how long the tires would last, and they had two options: 2 stops or 3 stops to complete the race. 3 stops, of course, with a faster pace. But honestly, I was surprised to see track position being that important.
Yes, it's in the IndyCar series. You have races like fireworks, or you have races like this one, depending on strategies, track
Mhm.
position, and doing the right move at the right time. And therefore, we had a very interesting race, I think, at
Yeah.
Alabama.
Mhm.
But it was not like the firework race we saw on other tracks. And this is something I really like about the IndyCar series. We have so
Mhm.
much variety in the races. It's not getting boring because every race is completely different, and we see other guys racing at the front. When we see the race winner, Pato O'Ward, the Mexican McLaren SP Racing driver, 12th at the season opener at St. Petersburg. He was 15th at Texas. He was better at Long Beach with a 5th place. And now he's first at Alabama. Then we have Alex Palou in second. Very consistent season. Second place at St. Peter's, 7th at Texas, 3rd at Long Beach. Then we had in third Rinus VK. It was his third top 10 result, but his first top 5 results. So other guys shaping that race, characterizing that race. Will Power, third, fourth, fourth in the season. He's very consistent. Also fourth in the points, by the way. So the number 4 is very important for Will Power at the moment. But where was, for example, Joseph Newgarden? Joseph Newgarden, double winner, Texas and Long Beach, but only 14th at Alabama. So
Yeah.
the whole order shuffling up again.
Yeah, and speaking of Newgarden, and I would mention him together with Colton Herta because they were on 3 stops. They were extremely quick at some point, especially Herta. Man, he was on fire, but their strategy got screwed by the only yellow flag. Was it the only one?
I think so, yes.
Yes, by the only one. When Kelly Milot ended up in the grass and spun and got stuck in the gravel just before the second stop, I think. So they ended up screwed because they couldn't make up for the time difference with a green flag run. So both Newgarden and Colton Herta found themselves back in the final order, but at some point it looked like the 3-stop strategy was paying off for both of them. You said the winner, Pato O'Ward. How did he win? We talked about strategy, but in the end, he placed a very, very nice move.
Yes. And this is also
On
the
track.
thing. Even if you have a race in the IndyCar series based on strategy or characterized by strategy, there are also those little highlights that make this series so competitive and so popular. When you see other single-seater series in the world, and I have to compare it to Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, Super Formula. Super Formula is quite similar to IndyCar racing, in my opinion, in Japan. But what we see in the IndyCar series is you cannot predict anything. Of course, we have push to pass, but you can defend with it. You can take it to overtake. Everybody has the same weapons. In the Formula 1, we need DRS for the chasing driver only when he's within 1 second range and stuff like this. So you definitely have an advantage if you're the chasing driver. In the IndyCar series, it's different. So you have to use your push-to-pass seconds very carefully and in a good way. But what I like about that series, and we see that in this season, 4 races, 3 different winners. But when we take a look at the consistency, there is going to be the key. Alex Palou leading the championship with 144 points, no win. Then we have Scott McLaughlin. He's 3 points down to Palou, 1 win. Joseph Newgarden, the only double winner, is third, 153 points. No, 35
135.
Points. Sorry. Will Power, 1 point less without a win in 5th. Then we have Pato O'Ward, 114. Scott Dixon, 113. VK, 106. Grosjean, 101. So we have 8 drivers over the 100-point limit. And it's going to be a race for the title between several guys to the end of that season. You already see how competitive, let's say, when I take a look at the names, 12, 13, 14 drivers are.
Yep.
This is amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's brilliant. And as you said, it's very fair. You have your weapons. Both can use them at the same time. Let the best one win. In the top 10, you also have 5 Hondas and 5 Chevys.
Yep.
It's very, very well balanced. And I really loved how the race played out at Barber. At some point, I was rooting for Colton Herta to make the 3-stop strategy work. Then just after the pit stop, bam, you have the caution. 3 stops out of the window. And you had a brilliant move on the outside of VK from Pato O'Ward. And then you have strategy, because Palou, how did he get second place? It took Strategy. He took, was it an overcut on the undercut? Wait there. Yes, an overcut with a 33 laps second stint. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Plenty of variety, plenty of faces at the top of the different faces at the top of the standings. Just wonderful. I had a blast watching the race, actually.
Yeah, like I said, we had the problem that the NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA race somehow overlapped a little bit, so it was really hard to follow all the action. But definitely agree with you. This was an amazing race, and I'm really looking forward to the race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course. We have first of all the Grand Prix, and then of course, and it's already casting its shadows. The Indy 500, of course. This race is legendary, and I'm just looking forward to that one, because the Indy 500 for me every year is something to celebrate. This is the day where I put hot dogs on my table, where I buy some American beer, even if if we have the better German beer, of course. But on that day, I really like to have an American beer. I put on the hot dogs on the when the weather is good here, we put on the grill and do some barbecue stuff like this. So we really enjoy the American way of life when the Indianapolis 500 is happening. So we really celebrate it when we have the time to do it.
And one day, I really want to go there for the Indy 500.
Definitely, it's on my bucket list.
It must be amazing.
Yeah,
just unbelievable. Let me do one last mention for Colton Herta for this race.
Yeah.
My note says, with 20 laps to go, unbelievable battle between McLaughlin and Herta for P6. So Colton Herta, despite the bad strategy, was going for P6. They collided. And Herta went spinning, but it still was a fantastic race. I'm really looking forward to see what he will do in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
Colton Herta. This is gonna click for him soon.
Yeah, speed-wise, he's one of the best guys. His pace is amazing, but the problem is he's not consistent enough. This is the biggest problem, and he said it in the preview show. I think Sky did it in the English one, the Sky UK ones. He said his own enemy is himself. He's always standing in his own way because of his temper, because he's making the wrong decisions. And it's still the same. In this season, he could have been way more up the order if he would have stayed calm, if he wouldn't have made some mistakes. He did. So, but pace-wise, he's one of the best drivers in the field.
Totally agree. No, man.
All right.
Let's go to the IMSA race. Was this the best battle of the weekend?
Maybe yes.
Maybe.
We already talked about that last week. The Laguna Seca Raceway, one of the best tracks in the American motorsports landscape, with the corkscrew. We have, I think, between the corkscrew, the highest point of the track, and the pit boxes, I think 55 meters difference. And I think you drop almost 10 meters just in the corkscrew.
There. I've been there. I've been to Laguna Seca. And by luck, I've been there in 2011. We were driving towards Monterey, and my wife says, "Hey, there's a track here." And I quickly do the math in my mind. Monterey. Wait! Turn right. It's Laguna Seca. Oh, there was just a normal track day. I saw an hot dog car, the promotional car with the hot dog, go down the corkscrew. Yes. But it's brilliant. Even the hot dog car, it's brilliant at Laguna Seca.
The hell? How do I get back to the IMSA race right now from the hot dog car?
From the hot dog car, there was no hot dog on track, at least.
Yeah, but we had two Acuras on track. I don't know.
Mr. Acura is not our fault.
Yeah. Laguna Seca is always an Acura track. They even get favored by the balance of performance, I think, with 10 kilogram more weight difference to the Cadillacs. But in the end, it's Acura land. It's the same like Long Beach. It's Cadillac land. Here it's Acura land. You
Yeah.
you go to Laguna Seca, you know that in Acura will be very quick in the DPI. But it's the last season of the DPI class of the DPI formula, so we see what's happening with the LMDH or GTP class next year,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it. Officially GTP, the cars will be LMDH. But we had Wayne Taylor Racing scoring the victory in Sunday's Hyundai Monterey Sports Car Championship race, following a hard battle with the Acura of Meyer Shank Racing. And we saw a very nice battle between Philippe Albuquerque and Tom Blomqvist. They were separated
Mm-hmm.
by 1 second when the checkered flag was waved. And yeah, it was an amazing battle between those two Acuras, and we saw the Cadillacs had a lot of issues that race.
Yes, I was watching I honestly I watched mostly highlights of this, and the battle between Albuquerque and Blomqvist, brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
That pass at some point, Albuquerque took the lead with a pass in traffic with GTs, P2s, and everyone around at the
Yes, at the
corkscrew.
top of the corkscrew, at the top of the hill. Brilliant, just
Brilliant,
amazing. Yes,
fantastic.
and that was the
Yes.
decisive move as well when he took over the
Yes.
lead. That's it. We had only one caution. We had a very heavy accident by the number 47 Winward Racing Mercedes AMG that was put in the GTD class and raced by Russell Ward. The
Mhm.
whole front of the car was destroyed when he hit the barriers. I think right after turn 6, something like this. And yeah, at the end, after that caution, we had an open race in all classes. We had of course, DPI. We talked about that with Wayne Taylor Racing winning that race
Mhm.
ahead of the Acura of Meyer Shank Racing. We had the LMP2. We had the GTD Pro and GTD. Um, in the end, like we said, Wayne Taylor Racing winning, Meyer Shank second. Then we had the Whelen Engineering car, the Cadillac in third, JDC Miller in fourth, and a very, very bad weekend for Chip Ganassi because the
Mm.
O1 car broke down, I think, in the very first minute with electronical problems. And the
Ouch.
O2 car, there were also problems within the race. Um, Alex Lynn went off track, and therefore the O2 car was out of the contention for a podium finish there.
Mm. Bad weekend. A second win of the season
Yep.
for the Wayne Taylor Racing guys. Well,
First win. They only won the qualifying race.
yes,
Yep.
that's true.
Yeah.
You're right. It's the first win of the season
Yes, officially
for
won.
them.
Official won. Yes, but you get
Yes,
you got a nice points for the qualifying race as well, and a win is a win.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. LMP2 was less of a thriller, I would
Yeah,
say.
but that's always the case in that class, because they split quite quickly. But what we had there was also PR1 Matthias Motorsports having a little bit of trouble. They were definitely dominating, but then in the end it was the number 8 Tower Motorsport duo of Luis Deletras and John Ferrano who won the race ahead of the PR1 Matthias Motorsports Arica because they were better in the second half of the race.
Hmm.
I
So good.
think.
And they won by 23 seconds.
Yes, yes. But we always have to see in the LMP2 which driver taking over the cockpit. We had in the 52 PR1 Matthiasens LMP2, we had, for example, a 16-year-old Josh Pearson. Of course,
Oh, really?
he cannot
Whoa.
compete with the pace of a Louis Deletras.
For sure.
Yeah, you always have to take a look what's happening there. In third, we had the number 18 Era Motorsport car of Ryan Dial and Dwight Merriman, another very strong duo. But they had a spin early in the race, so therefore, yeah, bad luck. Bad luck was was a very important thing over the whole race in the IMSA in all categories. We had also Juan Pablo Montoya back in action with Henrik Hetman in the 81 Dragon Speed. LMP2, they completed the podium when I'm right.
Yes, correct. They completed the podium with the 81 car.
So we had the Tower 8 in first, the Era 18 in second, the 81 Dragon Speed in third, the PR1 Matthiasen's Motorsports 52 in fourth, followed by the sister car 11th in fifth, and the high class 20 in sixth. So we have the whole field. It was a little bit confusing how we had the order, so I just wanted to make that clear.
That's perfect. GTD Pro then. The Porsche, the FAF Motorsports Porsche won the category by 31 seconds with Campbell and Gemini at the wheel.
Yes. They had that freak pit lane incident at Long Beach. You remember the lug nut from the Chevrolet, I think?
Yes. Falling in the radiator or something.
And ending the race for the PAF guys. Mathieu Jaminet and Matt Campbell, they bounced back. They're there. They did an amazing job, and they won over, you said it, with a 31.8 second gap over the number 14 Vassar Sullivan Lexus of Jack Hawksworth and Ben Barnicoat. But it was nice to see the Lexus back on the podium.
Definitely. Third one was the BMW M4 GT3 from team RAL Letterman Lanigan.
Yes, RLL.
RLL, yes, with De Filippi and Edwards at the wheel.
Yeah.
Can I say I would rather it's a not so serious thing, sorry, but I love the delivery of the FAF Motorsports Porsche.
You mean
the played one?
the red one with the with the black crosses.
Yes, exactly.
I think I have a shirt, or what do you call it? What you have under a suit, you know, business thing.
Sure.
In Germany, we call it Holzfällerhemd. Whoever listens right at the moment, just try to Google that, a Holzfällerhemd. Because if you have an axe and you're in the woods and you're chopping wood, and you wear that.
Yeah, it's played.
Yeah,
the pattern is called played. Yeah, fantastic one.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes, amazing. So PAF Motorsports back in first place. Let's take a look at the standings. They are leading the overall championship, PAF Motorsports, after that second race win of the season. They won the 24 Hours of Daytona. The Corvette only in fourth, still in second place, but the Chevrolet Corvette GTD car with the additional ABS and different aerodynamics to match these GT3 cars, still in contention for the overall win. And Vassar Sullivan raced in second consecutive second place. They are getting back into shape. Vassar Sullivan is not bad. They had a lot of bad luck, a lot of troubled issued races, but now 2 trouble-free races, and you see the pure pace of the Lexus RCF GT3 is there.
Yes, definitely quick.
Yeah, and then we have the WeatherTech Mercedes in fourth and the Heart of Racing Aston Martin in fifth in the overall standings. Let's go to the GTD, another Porsche. Oh my God, I already again pronounced it English. It's Porsche. Yeah. Wright Motorsports won the GTD category with Jan Halen and Bill Auberlen. Oh, sorry, Bill Auberlen. What did I say at the moment? I'm
No, it was the correct pronunciation, which I'm not used to.
No.
It's Bill Auberlen.
No. It's the problem is Bill Auberlen is in the BMW, of course. Jan Halen took the race win when he passed Bill Auberlen. I'm sorry, but I just had a brain fart.
Too much racing this weekend.
Definitely.
Too much.
Definitely.
Ah, ay, ay, ay. Yes.
So it was the right Porsche ahead of the carbon Lamborghini at the end.
Yes.
And then we had the Turner Motorsport BMW, of course, driven by Bill
Bill
Oberlin.
Oberlin.
Man,
Yes.
I took the one guy you associate with BMW and put him into a Porsche. I'm very sorry for that.
Well, we have to say if Porsche is happy with it.
Yeah,
Probably so, because Bill is really strong.
yeah. But yeah, in the end, it was Halen who was 5.5 seconds quicker than the Lamborghini Huracan driven by Jeff Westphal, and who made a last lap overtake on Oberlin for second. So Oberlin lost the lead against Halen and then lost second place against Jeff Westphal and completed or rounded out the top three at the end.
Well, the new GTD category is working, definitely working.
Yeah.
I see the gaps at the end, and it's brilliant stuff. 5 seconds for 5 seconds between first and second, 37 thousandths of a second between second and third.
Yeah.
Ah,
And what I, of course, miss at the moment is the true co-pilot or a teammate of Jan Heyland. It's Ryan Hardwick, of course, who was
Ryan Hardwick,
in
yes.
the Porsche, and not, of course, Bill Oberlin. Man, my brain. I need to reboot it.
Yeah. But we apologize, guys, but be patient with us.
Yeah.
It's been
A tough week.
one of those months.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting news we also have in the IMSA world. Porsche to allocate 4 LMDH customer cars in 2023, writes Daniel Lloyd on Sportscar 365.
Wow. That's good. That's very interesting. The more customer cars, the better.
Yes.
I still remember back when they did the ALMS with the customer Audis. They were beautiful. It was great racing.
I'm really looking forward to the new era of hypercars, Le Mans hypercars, and the other ones, and the GTP, and the class the best prototypes together in one classes in the WEC
Finally.
and in the IMSA series. A lot of cars in the top class at Le Mans, a lot of top cars at Daytona, Sebring, Petit Le Mans, Watkins Glen. So all the big endurance races will gain so much momentum.
Yes, please, ACO and IMSA, don't screw this up.
Yeah.
We are waiting for it since forever. Don't. Thank you.
The last topic, we really need to rush a little bit because it was
NHRA, man.
Yeah, we went 4 wide again, and you told me something before that show. We were at Bruton Smith Boulevard, Concord, North Carolina. All NASCAR fans know what? Bruton Smith Boulevard? Yes, we were right at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. But you told me something. You're not so much in favor with the 4 wide racing in the NHRA?
Yeah, it's so for me. It doesn't click for me. It's it's a very fast sport. They go 500 and something kilometers per hour. It lasts 3 seconds. 2 cars is enough. If I have to keep track of 4 drivers, I lose the winner, because the moment I look at the one who's having problem at the start, the other guys are already at the finish. It doesn't really click for me, honestly. It doesn't add excitement. Yes, it had noise. It's a show. Yes, of course. But if you want to do it twice a year, I'm fine. Please don't overdo it. It's spectacular, yes, but it doesn't add to the competition to me. And we saw at least 2 races at Charlotte. At least 2 of them, they basically half of the competitors took themselves out on their own because they had problem, lost traction, and what else? Funny car and top fuel. So 3 main categories on track: funny car, top fuel, pro stock motorcycle. And this is I really I had to watch several times the finals, because you lose track of the winner because you're watching the other guys having trouble. Stay with two cars. Thank you. Anyways, the main thing to me, the main story of the weekend was John Force's 155th career win. Every time in the post-race interview, he says, "Oh, this may be very well be my last one, so I have to celebrate." Blah, 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 blah. Man, it's 155 times you celebrate. It's a lot. the man is always fire. His post-race interviews are unbelievable. Anytime you put a microphone in front of him, he can talk 1 hour just to thank his sponsors. Is just I would love to have his enthusiasm at 70 years old. Definitely. So funny car. John Force won the battle in 3.914 seconds at 328 miles per hour. All his opponents fell behind him. The last one was his son-in-law, Robert Hyde, who finished second. So it's one to finish for John Force Racing. Then Ron Capps and Mike McIntyre. In Top Fuel, Mike Salinas delivered a great pass to win, 3.708 seconds at 330.47 miles per hour. To win, ahead of Cameron Fair, who finished second, then Josh Hart and Spencer Massey, they all spun tires at the start. This is one thing I wanted to talk about dragsters in dragster racing. With so much power and so much torque, sometimes you want less. The key factor is to tune your car not to lose traction, not to spin your tires in the first segment of the race. And this happens a lot, especially with Top Fuels. Did you see how they crush the tires? If you look at the slow motion, you really see the tire grasping for grip.
I think this is something you should show in school. In Germany, we have the subject in the middle school, and even if you want to go to university, you have to add 2 more additional years, and we talk about physics in this subject, and therefore this is something really. If you take a lot of stuff from racing, especially dragster racing, you can show so many things. So people really get an image what's happening. So when you talk about grip, what the tire is doing with the surface, show them that image. You see what a tire, what resistance and stuff like this really means. Rubbing, what that means. You can really see that. How it works that we can drive a car.
Yes, exactly. This is extreme physics.
Yeah.
It's a discipline to me. Extreme physics. You see literally the tires distorting and changing shape just to keep the car on the ground. And then when they are launched at full speed, they are not round.
Yeah.
They're oval. There's a part of the tire touching the ground before the rest. So it's just extreme physics. Even the fuel, I will have to document to research. But even the fuel, it has so much power in it. The thing they use, it's so difficult to ignite. They need a separate engine to ignite the fuel.
And there we are in the next subject, chemistry, if you want to do something.
Yes. No, but there I have to research. I'm not quite so into it to know the deep things. We should talk about it with some of them, with one of those racers.
But you know, what I really like is this is the first year I'm looking a little bit on the races, the races of the NHRA and what's happening there due to our show and what you're telling me. And what I see is there are always some names. Okay, I really know them. They are common, but I knew them before. We talked about that. But what I like is that there's also a lot of virality among the drivers getting into finals, scoring good points. So the championship is quite close. We have still
Mhm.
Brittany Force in first, 17 points ahead of Mike Salinas. Then
This is
Justin
top fuel.
Ashley, yeah, in top fuel, Steve Torrance. But oh, sorry, I spoiled there a little bit. But what I like is that you see different drivers reaching the finals, different drivers having the opportunity to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's the same for all categories.
Yeah,
And then, especially those where you modify a road legal car, they have such a wide base of drivers that you continue to see different names every time, different names, different names. And it's fantastic. This is fantastic about NHRA. It's really a popular sport, and in the sense that it's accessible to a lot of people,
yeah.
and it's fantastic.
And
Uh,
what you don't need to spend tons of hours in front of a TV to follow all the action
two
because
minutes. If you sum up all the runs, it's not even 2 minutes.
if you have a very short attention span, NHRA is something for you.
It's your sport. In funny car, point standings, Matt Hagan leads Robert Hyde by 22 points, then Ron Capps, John Force, and Cruz Pedragon, but we didn't talk yet about pro stock motorcycles.
Yeah,
There's something really difficult to do. To drive those bikes, it's really difficult. You really steer with your feet, and this is something the winner of the race said in post-race interview. Because when you start, your front wheel is mostly up in the air. So you really steer your bike, very dangerous bike, very fast bike, with your feet. Good. Now that we acknowledge this, Steve Johnson got back-to-back wins. His 11th career win, 6.740 seconds at 200 miles, 200.65 miles per hour. It was a nice race with all four bikes running to the finish line. And Steve Johnson beat Karen Stoffer, who was the quickest off the line with a reaction time of 26 thousandths of a second. That's quick. Then Eddie Krawick and Joy Gladstone. And in the point standings, Pro Stock Motorcycles, Steve Johnson is also leading the points with 6 points advantage on Karen Stoffer, then Eddie Krawick and Joy Gladstone. But those bikes, they look scary to me. You have your leather suit, and you're there driving this rocket. I don't know if I want to do it.
did we talk about the Top Fuel results?
Standings? Top Fuel results? Oh,
I'm not
right.
100% sure because I was spoiling the overalls, right?
Yes, but Top Fuel, yes, we said it. We
Okay,
talked
I
about
was
it.
not
Mike Salinas.
100% sure. Yeah, Mike Salinas.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
I was really like, did I spoil or did I not? Like we said, it was a very tough weekend. And by the way,
Yes.
I have a friend.
Mhm.
We're talking about motorsports a lot, and he's racing, let's say, pro stock motorcycles in Germany, but
Woo.
lower category. They are building the bike by themselves. They're putting the engine in there. They're racing it, and they're doing it on a national or even sometimes international level,
Mhm.
because they are preparing. Let's say for the tracks, they use the main straights of permanent racetracks like the Nürburgring or Hockenheimring. They even have a drag strip there. When
Mhm.
we have the Nitro Olympics, I was there. I told you, but
Yes.
the guy I know, he's from my neighborhood. He's really doing motorcycle dragster racing, even in Germany. So it's there.
To me, they are crazy. Driving a motorbike, it's already more dangerous than a car.
Yeah.
Then when you when you try to launch it at 360 kilometers per hour, it's okay. Okay,
By the
I
w-
don't know how we do it.
yeah. By the way, when we close European and watching American racing, I want to ask you something. Uh, 2 times a year, I think
Mhm.
in a few weeks, we really have to do two special episodes per year. Um,
Mhm.
Mid-season and after season. Americans going down under, because I was watching
Oh, yes.
the Perth Super Night at Venereal Raceway in Western Australia, with the supercars, of course, in action.
Mhm.
Those races were amazing again.
Yeah, V8 supercars deliver consistently since at least 15 or 20 years some of the best touring car racing in the world.
And
We have to do it.
yeah, we have to do it mid-season and after the season, one special episode per season, where we are in the season. And
Okay.
I really love going down under there. And you said it, they are offering plenty of action since 20 years. Frosty is still racing. Mark Winterbottom is still there.
Love the man. And I'm kind of sorry Craig Lowndes and Jimmy Whincup
Yeah,
stopped.
but Jamie Whincup is still there as a team owner now. So, or part owner.
And I guess I'm pretty sure they will try to involve him as a co-driver for the Bathurst race.
Yeah.
For sure.
But
We have to do it.
Yeah, we have to do it because Perth was amazing again. Because you know what? The night race was a day race for me, of course.
So you
I saw it
you could
live.
watch it.
I saw it live, yes.
Yeah, man, I didn't know. I have to look for the highlights. Ouch.
Amazing. You can see it on YouTube. So if you want to see true touring car racing, tune in for the supercars. And as well, next week, the season opener of the NASCAR Wheel Euro Series. It's touring car races or stock car racing. Do whatever you want. I don't care. And the second
It's
Ricardo
fine.
Tomo, we're going to be live there as well on YouTube. We both will be in Spain. I saw the weather will be great. Very warm, very warm. So we're looking forward to that. We have to check a little bit when we get back on Monday and what we have to do after the race weekend. We have a lot of work to do, of course, and we will see if we have the next episode in time. We're working very hard on that. I think it's a wrap. We can close that episode. If you have any questions, leave us a comment, write us a message on social media. We are available on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, of course. Yeah, and do hit the subscription button to not miss any episode. And we're also available on our big podcast services: Spotify, Google, Amazon.
Even Amazon.
Yeah, Apple, wherever you want to listen to us, we're there.
Thank you everyone for joining us. See you next week.